In my opinion, and probably a lot of others as well, blocking is much more important and valuable. This was a comment from Emin, and the comment's pretty long, but the basic gist of it is that you should be getting better at a lot of other fundamentals before you worry about landing the most optimized combos that are super complex that you probably end up dropping half the time in a real match. If you want a basic overview of all the fundamentals you should be trying to get good at in Dragon Ball FighterZ, check out this video that we made a couple of weeks ago, because today we're gonna dive pretty deep into defense. If you have any other topics that you'd like me to cover in future videos, make sure to leave it in the comments down below, and make sure to thumbs up the comments that you enjoy, that you like, that you'd like to see as well. Well, defense is very simple in theory. In practice, it may be hard to execute. But the first thing you gotta know is that it is possible to have a perfect defense in Dragon Ball FighterZ. It can be hard to achieve, but that should always be your goal. To block in Dragon Ball FighterZ, you simply hold the opposite direction of your character. You point towards your character's back. So far, so good. Next, you can block while standing up, you can block while crouching, and you can block while jumping. What's the difference? Well, it depends on the attack. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, there are three types of attacks. You have a low attack, which needs to be blocked while crouching. You have the medium attack, which can be blocked while standing up or while crouching as well. And then you have the high attacks, also known as overheads, which need to be blocked while standing up. For jump blocking, you don't need to worry about high and low attacks. Jumping just blocks everything. Just know that while you're getting off the ground, you are vulnerable for a very short period of time. It's called the pre-jump frames. Now, high attacks generally come in two forms. Every character, if you point forward and the medium attack button, they have a universal overhead attack, so this needs to be blocked while standing up, and also any attacks that your characters do while they are in the air. These are also considered overheads. These also need to be blocked while standing up. Of course, any aerial attacks, that also means anything that comes in from an instant air dash. Alright, so in general, how do you deal with this? Well, my advice would be block low every time. Why? Because this slow attack is much harder to react to than any overhead that they might throw at you. For any overhead, they need to leave the ground first, and you can react to that. You can just block low, and then stand up as soon as you see them leave the ground. Block low, react to jumps. And it would be great if that was all there is, but there's also something called a cross-up. Cross-ups are when a character goes from one side to the other, and that forces you to change the direction of your block. You may feel very safe with high-low mix-ups because you've gotten used to blocking while standing low and reacting to any jump. But if the opponent switches sides, you're no longer just standing up or sitting down, you're actually changing the direction of your block because your character's back is now on a different side. Now, these cross-ups can be very ambiguous, and the more ambiguous they are, the harder they are to block. For instance, if Tien does something like this, you can obviously see that the attack came from the other side. But if the instant air dash comes from further away, it can be hard to guess which side that's gonna land on. Gohan, for instance, is a great character at doing this, because his heavy attack in the air has so much reach, and it can be hard to tell where it's gonna come from the front or from the back. And when you pair that up with assists, it gets even harder to see, and that can make it even more ambiguous. But the assists will actually help you in the situation, because if you're in a block stun, which means if you're blocking any attack, be it from the active character, be it from the assists, it doesn't matter if someone crosses up, the game will help you block. You don't need to switch the direction you're blocking right away. As I'll now demonstrate, I will call Vegeta as an assist, and I will be blocking in the same direction. Even though Goku crossed over to the other side, I'm still blocking in the original direction, and I'm not gonna get hit by the cross-up kick. And speaking of assists, it can be quite confusing when the opponent crosses up to the other side and you're blocking an assist still from the initial side. What matters in those situations is the active character every single time. We're gonna do the same exercise now, but I'm gonna call Vegeta a little bit later, and I'm gonna cross up to the opponent's back, and you're gonna see the direction that I hold to block Vegeta's assist is gonna be the back of Tien relative to the active character. I'm not pointing away from Vegeta, I'm pointing away from Goku, because the active character is the one that matters. So up-down mix-up, you block while standing up, and while crouching. Left-right mix-up, you change the direction of your block. Anything else you need for the perfect defense? Well, just need to have the reactions of the gods by taking every Dragon Rush perfectly, and also jumping on any command grabs. So yeah, in theory that's really simple, but in practice it's not easy to do it because the game is very fast. But a perfect defense is possible, and that should always be your goal, to get closer to that perfect defense. At the same time, because it's so hard to block everything perfectly, it's important not to be so passive. It's important to not just stand there and block everything that the opponent throws at you, because sooner or later, they're gonna open you up. Now, in a previous video, we talked about getting out of the corner, and we shared some methods for getting out of there and going back to neutral or even reversing the roles. I highly recommend you watch that video right here, because all those methods work while defending. Even out of the corner. Reflect, Vanish, Sparking Blast, Raw level 3s, Block Cancels, DPs. I highly recommend you watch that video if you haven't yet. You'll get better at defense in general, and at the same time getting better at getting out of the corner. But basically, after you find the small opening in your opponent's block strings, you can throw any of these options. You either go back to neutral or you reverse the situation entirely. And this requires knowledge of the game, knowing the characters that you're playing against, knowing what's safe and what's not safe. So as soon as you see a move that you can react to in an opponent's block string, you know what option to throw. Outside of the corner, you do have one extra option that we didn't go over in the last video, and that's the backdash, just dashing backwards. Now obviously I wouldn't recommend you do that to a Kamehameha, because the Kamehameha is going to catch you anyway, but it can be useful in situations where the opponent incorporates a Vanish into their block string. So when you mash after blocking a Vanish, usually the attacking player has the advantage, and you're going to get caught and teabag you. Now, a backdash is a lot faster than a light attack, so usually you'll have no problem pulling it off. The timing is tight, but it is possible against most characters. Now, there are some characters that can punish a backdash. If the opponent is able to read you're gonna do a backdash, it's very, very dangerous against some characters. Adult Gohan here has a low-medium attack that can catch you because it has very high range. Trunks can also do it, Kid Buu can also do it. If they call your backdash, they can punish you. So even here, it's important to know your opponents. This is why it's important to know every character in Dragon Ball FighterZ, not just the ones that you play as, because you're gonna play against every other character in the roster, and you gotta know what they're capable of. But that's pretty much it for this video. We could go a bit more in depth, but we covered a lot of these options already in our Escaping the Corner tutorial. So if you want a more complete lesson, go watch that video as well. And to summarize, for a perfect defense, block low and react to overheads, also react to cross-ups, changing the direction of your block, tech dragon rushes, jump on command grabs, and finally, don't be too passive. Look for the opportunity for a reflect, for a vanish, for a sparking, for a DP, whatever you have to reverse the roles and initiate your own pressure or combo. Thank you for watching another tutorials video. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below what you'd like me to cover next in this series. Also, don't forget to thumbs up any comments that you like. I said it twice already during this video, but I'll say it again. This tutorial isn't complete unless you watch the one for getting out of the corner. Check it out right here, but if you're in the mood for something else, there's also the video at the bottom. But as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.